thanks for joining us. We can't thank y'all enough for all the follows and the subscribe. So while saying that, don't forget to smash that subscribe button there on the bottom of the screen. Leave those notifications on, the little bell, whatever that is. Benny, where can they find us on social media?
Yeah, you can find us, Ray Benny Sports. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Check us out also on Reddit and Discord. And don't forget to leave us a rating on your favorite podcast provider.
We got some Bomber talk, we got some Jets talk, but let's go right into it with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, winners of 8 in a row. Bomber talk brought to you by Fahrenheit Airbrushing. Stand out on the ice, pavement, field, or in the stands with a custom airbrushed helmet, goalie, mask, or any project. A local Manitoba business with affordable solutions. Check out Fahrenheit Airbrushing on Facebook or call them at 204-891-7431.
And don't forget to tell them that Ray and Benny sent you.
It's like the only phone number I've memorized in the past decade.
That's pretty good. I can't even memorize any more numbers. No matter what.
I also got 2222222.
Yeah, well, that one's pretty easy.
Yeah, you
get some pizza.
Take the dubs when you can. Unlike the Bombers, who are just rolling with the dubs. What's your biggest takeaway from the Bomber win? I'll go first. Almost textbook to what we've seen the past few years. Bully ball is in full effect. But, you know, let's give the football gods and goddesses a little bit of a nod so they continue to bless the Bombers. You know, there's a saying, you have to be good to be lucky, but you have to be lucky to be good. The Bombers did play some dominant football. They controlled the line of scrimmage, which I love to see from beginning to the end. But they also received some breaks on the way to that W. Yeah. You know, Tim White had that chance where he could have caught one for a touchdown or at least been stopped inside the 10, maybe the 5. 2 interceptions also were a factor, or 2 dropped interceptions were a factor, which definitely at least made a double-digit point swing and momentum swing, either 10 or 14 points, because Bombers scored with Clericus later on that possible pick that Hamilton could have had to stop the drive.
Yeah.
How they didn't score a touchdown on what's his name's O'Leary Orange.
O'Leary Orange.
Our boy from back in the day. How they didn't score on that drive a touchdown boggles me. So that's 4 points right there. So, you know, yeah, good to be lucky, lucky to be good. So that's my biggest takeaway, even though they played a dominant type of game.
Yeah, exactly. And like you say, bully ball, Brady Oliveira on top of that is starting to round into form. And, you know, in the slower start to the season with the injury, the kind of the demotion, all that kind of stuff, it's all behind him now. And now we're getting Brady Oliveira, and especially cold weather, Brady Oliveira is coming up here. And that O-line, like you say, they played that six O-linemen, you know, one playing the tight end, that bully ball that they just blocking like crazy. And they're using that. And we saw the passing game wasn't as prolific as obviously last week, you know, against Edmonton. Claros just over 200 yards and only 19 passes really, right, in this game, whereas they ran for almost 30 times. I know a couple were sneaks and whatever, but yeah, it was more of a balanced offense, you know, and then we're seeing Oliveira take that ball. But like you said, this game could have gone a different way in that first half, especially if Hamilton makes those plays, because then after with the second half, no points were scored by Hamilton in that second half, and the Bombers just took off and started pounding. And I got to give a shout out to this defense because they got different contributors this year. Yeah. You know, like we relied on Willie Jefferson, Big Hill, Brandon Alexander to make those plays, you know, in those 3 phases. But now everybody's making plays. Interceptions from Ford and Nichols this year too. They're going after him this year more than they ever have. And Nichols is showing them, hey, maybe you guys shouldn't be throwing to Orr's my guy.
Yeah.
You know, then sacks, you got Garbett, Thomas, and Haba with sacks, you know, and it's just getting guys everywhere.
Nichols is making plays. It's not just the overthrows, interceptions. He's like stepping under these receivers. He's seeing that ball coming. He's making a move towards it, and it's great.
Well, yeah, that interception by him was fantastic. He ran that route for that guy. And yes, it could have been, it was a little bit underthrown, but he was there too. And even if he wasn't in position to intercept, and he was probably knocking that ball away at least. You know, kind of thing. So, yeah, it's just been fantastic. And Tywan Garbett, give him credit, man. That guy had 4 tackles for a loss, the sacks. It's like, you know, they're filling in very well for Willie Jefferson. And sometimes we complain they're only doing that 3-man rush. But, I mean, that 3-man rush did enough damage to Bo Levi Mitchell out there that he could not figure out where to go with that ball.
Yeah, man.
You know, Like even you say Tim White dropped that one. There was a lot of times where Bo Levi was throwing the ball over receivers' heads because he was confused and didn't know where to go. So credit to Jordan Young and that D, man. It was another solid effort by them.
Bo Levi's got to take like his second and third read. And by that time, that 33-man coverage with Willie Jefferson playing nose tackle sometimes, dude,
it's fantastic,
all three
man.
ends are out there. So you have Haba, Garbett, and Willie Jefferson at the same time.
Yeah, and they had a few guys get hurt too on defense too, and they just guys came in, filled in, and played well.
That's speed. So then, talking about guys filling in and playing well, who would you say is your unsung hero from that Ticat game?
I'm gonna have to go with three of them. I can't pick one because these are the guys
pick
that...
one at least, and then I gotta go, and then you mention the other two. Give me a break. Come on now. Unsung hero.
I know, but there was just like I said, the guys fill it in. Fine. I'll go with Brian Cole coming in for Michael Ayers. Michael Ayers had been playing well, doing that role, and then we also saw Brian Cole play the linebacker role. I know he was playing where Cramdy was usually, right? So he came in and filled in that spot for Ayers after Ayers got hurt. So yeah, fantastic to see him and not miss a beat because, like we said, the D did not give up points in that second half.
I'm a huge Brian Cole fan.
Yeah, I know you are. Yeah, so.
I love watching that play. You probably thought I'd take that guy, but in light of I love seeing that guy play well, and I think he's a great athlete. He can play across the field. Like I think he can play safety if it comes down to it, and he can play the linebacker across the board almost. I don't know about middle, but shoot, any which way.
He's done well so far.
Yeah, my unsung hero will be Jake Thomas. You mentioned his name with a sack before, but it's not just about the sack that he got, which was kind of the icing on the cake at that time in the fourth quarter. He helped collapse the pocket on the Deatrick Nichols interception. He had to push the guard to keep Bo Levi Mitchell in a shrinking pocket when Haba got his sack. And he got his own sack going the long way around a guard. He didn't go inside the center. He went a long way around the guard, and he got to the quarterback. He got to him. So that's my unsung hero. I actually got time to watch a little bit of the highlights, and I saw him be a factor all across the board when he had his. And it's also because they have a great rotation now, eh?
Yeah.
You have that great 3-man rush. It gives guys to take a break. Like we said, they're playing all ends at some times in passing situations. So Jake Thomas gets to get a rest. And when he's in there, he's effective. He's old school, hand on the ground and face on the mask. I was a little hard on him early on in the year, but boy, that veteran presence, Jake Thomas, that's my unsung hero.
Well, then that's the thing. Like that D-line needed time to get set. You had a bunch of new guys. Cam Lawson getting hurt obviously didn't help. And I was just thinking too, I thought he was only on the 6th game. Is he out for the year as well? We don't want to spread the wrong information, but I thought Lawson would be back at some point.
No.
Yeah. So you're taking time you got other guys learning that position, even on the outside, you had Haba and Garbett. And Garbett started the season off hurt. So by the time these guys can kind of gel and get going, then Haba got hurt as well too, right? So yeah, it's a great job by Thomas and Willie Jefferson helping these guys get acclimatized and better in there.
No shade on Schmeckel, but imagine if Cam Lawson was in that rotation.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
and you need that
in there. So you got relief somewhere else. Oh.
and we saw when the Bombers won the Super Bowls, Grey Cups, that D line was disruptive, right? They were after Evans and Mazzoli in those Grey Cups. They didn't give them time, so you need that, and you need that good rotation too. So I'm just going to shout out then Jake Kelly also who came in for Alexander and Nick Hallett who came in for Griffin at some point too. So like I said, these guys came in and filled in admirably, and again the defense. Didn't skip a beat in the second half.
It's like the coaches know the personnel so well that they know where to put them in position. It's wow. So let's move on to the next game. Bombers love playing the Argos. And Chad Kelly is coming to town. It'll be another sold out Princess Auto Stadium. The garage will be crazy rocking again. What do the Bombers have to do to beat the Argos? Well, on offense, they have to continue the rolling with Brady Oliveira. Toronto is number 1 against the run, giving up an impressive 75.5 yards per game. But they've also flexed that stout running defense against Ottawa, Hamilton, and Montreal multiple times, and they're the 3 worst rushing offenses in the league. So when they played them earlier, Oliveira went 13 for 96, 6 receptions for 51, 20 touches almost, 140 yards plus. So they know how to deploy Oliveira against the Argos. Just keep leaning on that. Because I was a little concerned against the Ticats when they kind of let off the pedal on the running game for a bit there. And I was like, oh, the momentum's kind of getting lost. But then they committed back and they got it going again. So don't veer far from that running game. Like even Chris Kolinkowski, like you said, they brought in the heavy set with a 6 offensive lineman with a tight end. Like he was talking about the O-line balling and feeling momentum and getting going with the power running game. So stick with that because that's been the Bombers' staple for a long time. Like, don't get me wrong, Charles Roberts was awesome. But before that, when they were champions, they were dominant with the power running game, man. Willard Reeves, Blaze Bryant, Michael Richardson, Robert Mims. Like, shoot, let's go with the power running game because you look at the stadium behind me. That's classic. That's the shit that's the stuff I like to watch. So, sorry, I went on him. Let's bully ball, keep that running game going.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. And keep this balanced offense kind of going, right? You had the 20 passes, like we said, 19 for Claros in that game. And kind of what you're saying is just find what is working. And if that rhythm is working on the run game, stick with it, right? And pound that down their throats because Toronto's got a good D and they have a D that will be opportunistic, right? You got Jake Seresna there, who's leading the league with 7 sacks right now on that D line. You got Winton McManus, on at the linebacker position, who has been very good as well. And in the last 2 games they played, I think what you said, Montreal and Ottawa, no, Hamilton and Montreal, they were giving up about 5.5 yards per carry average in those games. So yeah, Brady Oliveira can hit that and probably a little bit more. So you may have to lean on him and see how the game goes. But yeah, that Toronto defense, they got some good DBs as well. A lot of interceptions back there. It'll be a tough game. And they need to win this game. Toronto. They need to stay ahead of Hamilton or knock Hamilton out, I guess, with a win for Toronto. And Winnipeg needs a win or a Saskatchewan loss to clinch the West final. So it should be an interesting game. And like you say, sold out again, probably getting close at least, if not already. So it should be a fun one.
They I saw a post on social media that says sold out. So I'm going
to okay, so we're there already.
I'm going to believe that. Like, that's the thing about Bomber football. Like, even with the power game back in the day, you look at those offensive lines. Like, Chris Walby, Bob Moley, Davin Cognit. Man, like, you can go on and on. Miles Gurrell.
Miles Gurrell, yeah. Oh, yeah.
They're so good.
Lyle Bauer.
Lyle Bauer. Bob Moley. Like, dude, look at that field again. It's good time.
Once it's cold out, man. I mean, once Grey Cup's in BC place, so obviously weather's not going to be a factor there. But once it's cold out and that ground's frozen, man, you got to have a running game in the CFL. You can't win without it in the playoffs, unless you got a perfect day. Obviously, then you can go any which way. But it's very rare that it's a perfect day in November for CFL football,
especially when the game is close and you need a running game to close it out.
Yeah.
Like the Bombers have one where they can get 4 or 5 minute drives where they can just lean on it. And then it opens up everything over the top or in the middle or whatever. Because everyone's peeking in the backfield. We've talked about that. Play action.
Oh, yeah.
Use that more. It's great.
Exactly. Yeah.
Goodness. Defense, what do they got to do there?
Got to get after Chad Kelly, obviously, rattle him because when he gets rattled, he is horrible. And he's shown that in multiple games in the playoffs last year and some games this year against Ottawa. Was it Ottawa where he threw 4 interceptions? So, yeah, get after him. And you got to slow down Kadeem Carey, who's had a pretty good season himself, and he's averaging 5.6 yards per carry. And he loves to play the Bombers. He's had some good games against the Bombers, so they'll be coming at it. But, yeah, if you can get after Chad Kelly and kind of make them maybe one-dimensional, you got a pretty good chance in this game.
They have to get after Chad Kelly.
Yeah, you can't give him time. Don't let him get into rhythm.
No. In September, the Argos were 2-3 in 5 games, with Chad Kelly throwing 6 touchdowns to 7 interceptions. They have to be able to create pressure with the 4-man rush. Because I really don't think, especially early in the game, the 3-man rush can be effective because of who you say, Kadeem Carey and the Argos rushing game. They're averaging 125 plus yards per game rushing. Like, if they can find a way to stop that rushing game, they got to play 4-man.
Yeah.
On the deep, they can't play 3-man early in the game. So that means they can put the game on Chad Kelly's shoulders. And I think that puts the advantage for the Bombers there. Because, and it's not just Kadeem Carey. They have this Deonta McMahon and, oh, here we go, Daniel Adeboboye. There you go.
Good job. Good job.
If they keep going, the Bombers might have a long day.
Yeah.
And like you said, Kadeem Carey 6 yards a carry. That's
average, yep.
Second highest in the top 5 in the CFL.
Yeah.
Behind who? Brady
Oliveira.
So I should have just let you answer it. I hate when people ask questions and they just answer it. Now I feel like a dink. But really, they got to get that running game going. And yeah, that's other than that 18-yard touchdown that they let Best get.
Butler.
Was it Butler? Yeah,
Butler got it.
Thank you. Best was out. Butler. The Bombers are pretty stout on that.
Yeah, they shut it down pretty good after that. That first drive for Hamilton was good on the ground and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, Bombers shut that down after. And they've done pretty well against the run lately. So, well, sorry, I can't say pretty well. Rankin got over 100 yards. Sorry, my mistake there. He got over 100 in both those games. But
again, they give up running yards sometimes because, like, you can't just run in the CFL when you're trying to score. You know?
Yeah.
Not that the Bombers don't do that, but still, there's that pass as well.
Well, that's the case. Like, then Bombers D, again, they've given up yards. But again, it's the points on the boards, right, that they've held teams off. So they'll give up yards here and there. And that's almost was a Richie Hall staple on D, right? We'll give you 600 yards, but you're only going to score 10 points. You know, kind of thing. So
absolutely,
they're limiting those. Even if Rankin's running for over 100 yards in those games, they limited, you know, how they finished or in touchdowns. And a lot of that came in that second game when the game was already out of hand and the defense kind of chilled out a bit. You know, they weren't going as crazy as they could have been in that game. So, but yeah, it'll be fun. Rattle Chad Kelly, get after him, and get that crowd needs to get on him as well.
Don't sleep on the passing game though.
Yeah.
They can put up some yards with Coxie, Daniels, and Polk.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Shoot. Therapists. Special teams. Well, stop Janarian Grant.
Yeah.
And again, they have advantage to flip the field with this long distance kicker. Second in punt total. Second in net average. Like, John Haggerty is a good punter. But that also means you have opportunities if he puts it in the middle of the field, hopefully. So, come on. Hey, Lucky Whitehead hasn't broken one, but he's been consistent and hasn't really turned it over. So, I'm happy with that. Remember back with Cal Murphy, with Boyko returning it all the time? It's like, whatever. Catch the ball, bro. Get 10 to 20 yards. Let's go.
Did he actually get 10 to 20, or was he, just basically just don't fumble it, buddy?
Yeah, maybe an 8-yard average for Boyko career. But we knew we had the ball.
Sure hands, just don't fumble it.
Just the opposite of Gizmo.
Oh, yeah. Big time. And that's the thing. We never had good returners. We never did. It was never exciting until Albert Johnson basically came around, kind of thing.
Absolutely.
So even right now for Lucky, the last game was not his best game. We're not even close to being that. Like, even at punts, 8.2 average, kick return 19, and he actually did fumble on a punt return, but recovered it himself, right, kind of thing, which could have been a huge play in that game. So yeah, we need a little bit more out of him. And it's funny, every time we talk about the other punter, it's like he's up here and Sheehan's down here, kind of thing, right? So, but Sheehan's done better overall lately, and he's had some good punts. But yeah, just don't mess it up. Just don't line drive it. Give him a good return. Win that field position. But Janarian Grant's going to want to return one against his team, right?
Oh,
he would love it, especially in Winnipeg at that stadium. Oh, God. He'll be looking for it.
Just keep him on the sideline.
Yeah. Just never punt. Just never punt. Well, I guess kickoffs, though.
Oh, gosh. Bomber fans, put your comments below about the upcoming game against the Argos. A couple times I've referenced this building behind me, Canad Inns Stadium. I know it more as Winnipeg Stadium. You got IG Field, Investors Group Stadium, Princess Auto. What did you enjoy more about this building, Canad Inns Stadium, then Princess Auto Stadium. You go first.
Aesthetics wise, probably nothing really. But for me, it would have been either the concourse, which was better, or the location, which I like better. Right, those kind of things. I can't think of anything else that would have that stadium be better, really, in terms of anything else. But I hate Princess Audio Stadium just for the fact that I can't walk around when there's 30,000 people in there, right?
Oof.
And you want to get up and walk around and check stuff out. It's tough to do. So
yeah, especially like during the breaks. During the game, it's okay.
Yeah.
Like if you've been there for a while, not to wait until halftime to get food.
Oh yeah, or move, yeah, because you're not moving.
Grey Cup was horrible concessions, man.
Not surprised.
I enjoyed. There was like a different vibe from every section in this stadium. Like I think investors group, there's like just a roar, but like there was like a different vibe at every. Like the student section was crazy. It was a thing of its own.
Yeah.
And section T wrote off that section, saying section S sucks, and they had back and forth. And then you had the Safeway Family Fun Zone, which was cool. I remember that as a kid when I was young. And then you had the people in the baseball seats there that were kind of drunk, but there weren't enough people to rival the student section over there. And it was just different vibes. F and G, no, this way near the away tunnel and away dressing rooms. That was rowdy there as well. Like just had different vibes in different places, but it wasn't as connected as Princess Auto Stadium.
Yeah, it was a good stadium. I mean, for its time and what the purpose it served and whatever, all that kind of stuff. No complaints. I mean, just walking up that stupid freaking spiral to get to the freaking top though was quite the quite the adventure getting up there. It was like, holy crap, am I there yet?
That's a workout for the year.
Oh, jeez.
It's like
it was
climbing Everest.
It was. I miss that stadium though. It was fun. Jeez. I mean, we went to a lot of games. We grew up in that stadium pretty much, right? So a lot of playoff games in there, and it was good.
I kind of miss bad weather games though. Like weather's not as big of a factor in this stadium because they dig it deep in the ground. Like there's some good, cold, windy games that made like Bob Cameron legendary.
Yeah, I was behind you. I was in this side of the empty field at the temporary seats for the Grey Cup. So in '91, so probably your other side, but closer to you, in the open field there. No, not on those seats. We were on the temporary ones.
Oh, not the temporary ones where the rum hut is. Remember there are temporary ones there in the student section? For the Grey Cup.
For the first one in '91, I think we were in the green space there for right behind you.
So you're there for the halftime show for Burton Cummings and all that?
I could have been there, but I probably was inside because my toes were frozen. Not inside, obviously, but somewhere trying to get a little bit warm.
What a horrible halftime.
It was so cold, man. It was cold, and I was like 12 or 13.
Wow, we're going way back. The Bomber fans, check it out. We have James Murphy talking about the coldest games that he played in the playoffs. Broomball shoes. Bomber fans, put your comments in the comment section below. Let's go move on to some Winnipeg Jets talk.
Let's do it. Coming up, season starts on Wednesday against the Oilers. Home opener Friday. And against Bedard, home opener.
Wow.
Starting off with a bang.
Jets talk. Over under. Team point totals 98. You go first.
I'm going to go under. I'm not going to say far under, but definitely under that. They're not hitting their 110 or whatever they got last year.
I'll go slightly under as well. I don't think they'll be sniffing top spot like they did in January last year. I think it'll be a rough go to get a playoff spot, but I think they'll get there. 40, 42 wins. Kyle Connor getting 50 goals. I'll go under. I don't think scoring will be at a premium this season for this team, especially earlier on in the year. I think they'll really be concentrating on defensive responsibility, especially for that first line, because they have to, because they know the offense will break out sometime, but they got to get some defensive responsibility on that team. So yeah, under.
I'm going to go over because I think they're going to rely on him to be able to score a lot of goals this year. That top six is going to need to produce a lot for this team to win because I don't have a lot of faith in the bottom six scoring goals. So over for me on that one.
Shifley, 80 points.
I'm going to go over because if Connor's getting over 50, then Scheifele's got to be helping him get there.
And then I'll go under because the last 2 seasons, Scheifele has not been a point what did he go? Point a game player. And I can't see him in this style that I assume that they'll play with Scott Arniel improving on points this year. Helly, 35 wins. He'll be in Vezina contention again, so I'll go over with the emphasis on, like I said, team defense.
I originally went under on this, but I changed it to over because, we have it later on, I guess, with our backup goalies where we think they're going to end up. So, yeah, I ended up going over for Hellebuck because I couldn't say, hey, you're going to get close to 98 points and Hellebuck's going to win less than 35 games. So I had to adjust that one.
Morrissey, 65 points.
Over. I'm going to say over because he was over that the year before, dropped down a little bit last year, right? So, yeah, I think he'll be over it.
Yeah, no problem. No doubt in my mind he'll surpass 65 points. Perfetti, 60 games played. Oh, over for sure. This is the year.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one. I mean, if he's not playing 60 games, obviously injuries can play a factor, but if he's not playing 60 games because he's getting benched again, then we got problems there.
Ehlers, 60 points.
I'm going to go over as long as he gets to stay on that power play one. If he gets taken off that, or if his line plays less minutes than that Lowry line again, then chances are it could be. I'm picking everyone to go over with points. That might be a bad thing here.
Ooh, and I'm picking everyone under to go with points. I'm not a huge fan of the line he's on. Nemesnikov, are you kidding me? I can see Lowry, Niedermeyer, and Perfetti being actually more effective. Sure, it's called line number 3, but give me a break. I think 50 plus point, huh?
That Lowry line is essentially line number 2, time wise.
For sure.
Yeah.
I think a 50 plus point season actually still would be a successful one. And I'll leave any other Ehlers comments for later.
Yeah, and that's why he needs to stay on the power play one, because if he drops off that, then he's not getting close to 60. Or not that he's not getting close, but he'll have a hard time breaking 60.
And that's the thing. I hear that maybe, of course, I'm only a fan. I'm hearing this off of online talk that they're really trying to balance more time with power play 1 and power play 2. So some of these guys can play penalty kill, so they won't be out there as long. But I'm not a hockey analyst. I'm just talking up my ass. Backup goalies, 15 wins. I'll go under because I'm not confident. I am not confident. They'll play more, but I think their winning percentage will not even be close to Brossois, so I'm going under.
Well, yeah, Brossois had 15 wins last year in 22 games. I'm going under as well, and that's why I had to adjust my Hellebuck totals because Jets ain't getting the 90 points unless Hellebuck's winning a bunch of games.
Wow, Jets fans, give us the over-under on those ones. Let's go into predictions. Will Ehlers be traded? Man, it all depends on how the team does. Like, if they're not if they're horribly out of the playoffs, like between the All-Star break and the trade deadline, they have to, because that means they're going to press they're pressing the reset button. They're building everything around Scheifele, who might be center 2 if they have to rebuild, and Hellebuck. But at the same time, if they're in contention, no, because he's like one of the best offensive players they have. And I think they'll retain him after this season if they're still competitive. That's the thing. If they're still competitive, they make the playoffs, they're on round 1, they'll keep him around. And I don't know what'll happen, brother.
Of course, after we talk about this today, they'll sign him tomorrow to an extension, eh?
Oh, are they in the talks?
I don't know. I haven't heard anything.
They offer the surprises,
I don't think so, but things come out of the blue, out of nowhere, right? There's reports of things not going well with Perfetti, and then all of a sudden the next day he signs. So I don't think he will be traded. And like you say, only if the Jets are in contention, because obviously you're not going to give away an asset close to the trade deadline if you are in contention and possibly make the playoffs. And since we think the Jets are going to make the playoffs, they won't end up trading. But if they're out of it, I can see it happening.
Will Perfetti solidify himself as a top 6 player?
Yes, I think this is his year. He will end up doing it. There was good reports of him coming into training camp looking good and looking a lot better. So I think this is it. Again, that second line center, Nemesnikov, no disrespect. It may be tougher for those guys, but Ehlers and Perfetti hopefully can gel.
I'll go off base what I said earlier on, and I'll say no. I think he'll find a nice place on that third line, just in regards to titles. You
Yeah,
know, minutes played, who knows what it'll end up being. But I
that's
think
true.
he'll find a good spot as a winger, and they better dang well bring in someone else as a 2C come later in the year. And I'm sure we'll talk about this guy next. So let's move on to the next question. Will Brad Lambert get a chance to play meaningful games in the NHL this season? And based off of that, I'm going to say yes. What's meaningful? 20 games? I think he'll play more. Nemesnikov, great. I think he'll be better in the bottom nine bottom six. And I think hopefully Lambert will get that 2C opportunity because I think that line as it is right now will sputter. And I think eventually it'll be Lambert's to come and take. So, yes, I do think he'll play meaningful games.
Yeah, I think so at some point too. I don't know, like you're saying, where he'll get that opportunity. Kind of disappointing he didn't get that opportunity to start the season, even for a few games, 5 games or something, just to see what he can do. Tryouts are, training camp's different. You got nerves. You're like expected to do all this stuff. It didn't work out very well for him in that terms, but we talked about it. Cheveldayoff said, "Hey, the young guys are going to get an opportunity to make this team." Well, none of them ended up making it. So, and then Rutger McGroarty made Pittsburgh. That lineup's a little bit different. That lineup's a little bit different, though. So that Pittsburgh lineup's pretty weak for the most part. So, besides their top guys, but it's just funny. Cheveldayoff, they're going to get the opportunity, but then you don't even keep any of them to even start the season. You got Appleton still on that. We call it the third line when it's really the second line. But yeah, you couldn't give Lambert a spot there to try out just for 5 games, a few games, something. I get it. He's still young, but you could have tried him, gave him some NHL time, see what happens, and then send him down. Don't send him down right away. But that's it. That's the Jets' MO right now, and we'll see where it goes the rest of the season.
Maybe it's a situation where, like, you had a solid camp, you had a decent preseason. Let's get you a little more pro play in the AHL when guys are hungry, and then we'll bring you up after a few games. Maybe.
Yeah, we'll see.
Ooh, I'm never right on hockey, so. Let's talk about favorite D Jets all time. We're going to look at some of our favorites, maybe 3, maybe 4, maybe 5. We'll see how different we get. You want to go first on one of them?
Yeah, we might as well pick the one that we probably both have. I'm going to go with Dustin Byfuglien. Obviously, I missed the guy. Love watching that guy play. I was talking to it earlier about with some other people, just that playoff intensity that he brought, right? That the Jets have lost and haven't been able to get it back since then, kind of thing. But he was just fantastic in that run. Man, I miss that guy.
Just a force. I don't know what to add to that.
No.
Like his most popular memes are him holding 2 different players at one time.
Twice in a playoff run.
I was there when he smoked Mark Stone.
Oh, I was at that rink too. Oh my goodness.
Where were you? Were we sitting together? Because I was in the 300s.
No, I was in the lower bowl.
200s.
I was in the lower bowl because close by was actually a lot of Mark Stone's fans. I don't know if it was family to where I was sitting.
Yes.
And after that hit, they were not happy.
They were close to that. They were close to the hit.
Yeah. It was, that hit was,
Dustin Byfuglien. Dominant.
Totally clean as well.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm going to go with Teppo Numminen for one of them. Dude was a machine. He played till he was 41.
Yeah.
And he missed a lot of a season because he had heart surgery. And then he came and played the
crazy to come back.
Of the game. And he was like the last player of his draft class in 1986 to be active in the NHL. Like, dude served the Winnipeg Jets, and he loved being here. So, Teppo Numminen.
Yeah, I got him as well. Not flashy, nothing like that, but stay at home. Big definition of stay at home defenseman for that guy.
Yeah. Who's the third one? I'm sure this one will be different. I gotta
go with Phil Housley on this one because that dynamic between him and Selanne that season was unreal. Yeah. And I almost wish he wasn't on the team because that means we didn't trade Dale Hawerchuk kind of thing, right? But Housley came in and he was fantastic.
I did love Phil Housley as well. But I didn't pick him. I went a little more old school. No WHA players this time around. I'll go with Randy Carlisle, number 8.
Yeah.
Is that why Timo had to wear 13
And
then move to 8 after, or was he 8 and then?
Yeah, he was 13 at first, then he moved to 8, right?
So that might have been it.
Yeah.
I'm just figuring this out now, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know, but he was a childhood favorite of mine. Dude didn't play with a lid until he retired.
Him and Craig McTavish.
Oh my goodness! Acquired from the Penguins for a first-round draft pick. Do you remember what's his name? Doug Bodger.
I remember the name, yeah.
Yeah, he wasn't that good.
Yeah.
He had a decent career in the NHL. What am I talking about? Shit. And the Momantha went the other way out.
Momantha.
Yes.
Fantastic.
But Randy Carlisle was here for a long time, just a grinder player, a veteran player, a culture player in that time when it was needed, or a different culture, I guess. So I'll go Randy Carlisle there.
Yeah, can't go wrong there either.
I probably could do better, but still, he's my favorite.
And give a shout out to Dave Ellett as well, just for that overtime goal against the Oilers.
Well, then shout out to Dave Babbage.
What about Frederick Olsen? Dave Babbage. I like Dave Babbage too. Frederick Olsen. I liked that boomer from the point. Yeah.
Oh, shit.
I got Babbage written down here too. And Morrissey's down there too.
Yeah. So we've given already like 6 or 8.
Yeah.
Stanley Cup predictions, finalist and winner. You want to go first?
Yeah.
Sure.
I'm gonna go Dallas, Boston. Boston wins it.
I'm gonna go Edmonton. Bruins in the Stanley Cup. I think Edmonton is just raring to go. They lost that game 7 in Florida. There's character now. And there is edge with Edmonton. They're going to be pissed and determined. Skinner's gone deep into the season. Skinner's going to have more confidence. I think Edmonton's going to be a beast. And they might have a little bit of struggles, maybe like a 5-game losing streak, maybe here and there. But I think they will be dominant and determined to win. I think they will face the Boston Bruins. I like that they signed Swayman. I like that they got what's his name from Carolina? What's that center?
I don't know, but they got a pretty big defensive core there at Boston too.
They got Zadorov.
Yeah.
Oh, Lindstrom. Lindstrom is their number 1 center now, and they still have Brad Marsh on there. So I think Bruins will also make it, but I got Edmonton Oilers. Too much firepower, and I think Bruins will get their asses tired out in the Atlantic Division.
That'll be interesting.
And then they got to go through the Rangers probably.
Yeah, it's a tough grind there compared to like even Edmonton last year getting to the Stanley Cup compared to Florida. It was a lot easier getting through that Pacific Division, and then even Dallas at the end there, right? And it'll be interesting with Vancouver to see how they are. And I know their goalies are out for a bit, so will they be able to survive until Demko and stuff gets back? So they're probably the only challenge. Vegas, not expecting a lot out of them. I mean, they'll be good, but who knows where they'll go in the playoffs. It'll be fun. Season's starting. Or I guess the season technically started already.
Oh, yeah, for sure. NHL, Winnipeg Jets fans, put your comments in the comments section below. Benny, you have anything to say to our friends?
Hey, just thanks a lot for listening. Don't forget, subscribe, follow. Have a good week. And go Bombers go. And go Jets go, too.
Shoot. Oh, another sellout. Leading the league in attendance for the 4th year in a row, 3rd year in a row. Winnipeg.
Let's go.
In the famous words of Dick Vitale, I've learned 2 things. Never ever believe in can't, and be good to people, and people will be good to you.
Hey, friends and neighbors, don't forget to check us out online on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter at Ray Denny Sports. And don't forget to check out our YouTube channel. Leave a like, leave a comment, tell us what you think.